You are the master of your destiny. You control the outcome of this day. The universe gives what you bring to it. Today, you bring fire, Amanda.
Not Amanda Waller with daily affirmations. What's going on, everybody? I am Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blurred, and this is my episode 2 Season 2 review of My Adventures with Superman. Now, if you were brand new to the channel, please be sure to go and hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell. That way you know every single time that I am putting out content here on the channel. On top of that, I really want to thank each and every one of you that have been rocking with me so far, that have been checking out my videos and whatnot. Please be sure, if you haven't already, check out some of the other playlists, some of the other stuff that I've got on here. We're actually really close to being able to monetize the channel. So just do me a favor, man. Check it all out. Find some stuff that you like watching. Or if you got some free time, you got a free device, just let a playlist play in the background. You know what it is, what it is. You can definitely help me out if you did that here on the channel. And please be sure when this is all said and done, you leave a comment too. That algorithm has changed. And so now the more interaction that we get, the likes, the comments and all that, that is really what they're focusing on above everything else. So definitely do that as well. Now, this is a spoiler review, so if you have not seen the episode, you don't want to get spoilers for the show, please be sure to go watch the show first and then come back and we'll discuss. Otherwise, we're going to jump right into it. Okay, so the episode starts, as you just saw, with Amanda Waller waking up, doing daily affirmations, going through what looks like a mysterious university, only to find out there's actually a secret prison, and inside of it is General Lane, the father of Lois Lane. He has been essentially imprisoned at this point because Lois did mention at the last episode that her father was missing. And now we know why, because Task Force X, now being run by Waller, has imprisoned him to find out exactly what he knows and what he's hiding from his encounter where he supposedly had a fake meetup with Kryptonians and all that kind of stuff.
Your coffee just the way you like it.
What's the occasion?
Oh, Sam, that's easy. Today's the day you talk.
At the same time, we end up with Lois and Clark trying to figure out, as they search the city, where General Lane could possibly be. And that's when they run into a kid named Billy, who says that, he knows that Clark knows Superman, just because, it's a situation where, Clark and Lois have been reporting on him previously, and asked if they could potentially talk to Superman to find his missing father, who was volunteering at Stryker's prison before ultimately going missing.
He's a volunteer librarian at Stryker's prison. Dad said something weird was going on at work, that people were disappearing, and then he never came home. I can't find him. But Superman can do anything. So, can you ask him to find my dad? Please?
Jimmy Olsen, he obviously, as this trio of things that have been going on, wants to help, but he actually gets stopped by by Perry being like, nah, son, you a boss now. So since Flamebird hasn't put out no content, you're going to take your ass in that room over there. You're going to take these interns that I've assigned you, and you're going to make sure that you put out some damn content for Flamebird. I didn't pay you all these millions just for you to not do the one thing you were supposed to do.
Pear, no time to talk. I got to go meet up with Clark and Lois.
Nope, you've got a division to run. Flamebird.
What about my team?
Clark and Lois aren't your team. You have Steve and the new interns who can shoot videos, getting us the content we need to finally get one over on Vicky. Got it?
Guys, stop chasing the cat.
So now he's got to put up with the kids, and I can't remember the name of this adult dude.
Steve.
But he also was the pain in the ass on sports, and now they're all a part of the Flamebird internship, which is actually really, really funny. Now, when Lois and Clark get outside Stryker's prison, Lois comes up with this kind of convoluted plan as to why exactly they are there.
I'm a wealthy, gorgeous widow. You are my beautiful bodyguard who has fallen for me but can't reveal your true feelings. I'm here to make a large donation to the library wing. We get in, nab a key card, and go.
Beautiful bodyguard, that's...
which is kind of hilarious to me, man. I mean, again, with this being anime, you're gonna get the serious moments, the fights and stuff like that, but every character more or less, unless they're like a hardcore villain, like I can't see like Darkseid if he ends up you know, in the show doing stuff like this. So with all that happening, they get inside, they find that the area is empty, and so Clark goes into full Superman mode. Lois notices an elevator and is like, ooh, I don't really see a car, and Clark was like, don't do it, girl, don't do it. Of course, Lois does it anyway. She jumps in the elevator shaft.
No.
You don't even know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, you're gonna jump down the elevator shaft.
No. No.
Lois, I can see you inching towards it.
Oh no, I slipped!
Of course, Clark catches her, which gave you this kind of really cute moment here.
Wow, you really like jumping off things.
Because I know you'll always catch me, Smallville.
As they go down the elevator shaft, they actually figure out that this is Task Force X. This is actually where their secret base is.
Let's see where this all goes.
So as they search around, they actually find all sorts of interesting things in there. First of all, there's a realization that Ivo is there, who is still trapped inside the parasite suit. But as they're trying to find disguises, and Superman does one of the most disrespectful things I've seen to a villain before. He doesn't punch anybody. There's no breath. There's some guards that Lois has a failed plan, and Superman just goes, boop, just right on top of the head.
Hello, colleagues. I'm here to relieve you for my shift.
Knocks them the hell out, which again is super funny, and I think is a great testament to genuinely how ridiculously powerful Superman is. All he's got to do is just tap your ass on the head and boop, instant CTE. You become Antonio Brown in a mere matter of seconds. Ooh, I feel kind of dirty about that one. As they do that, they ultimately do see the general on the monitors here, that he is being held captive. And so they go in to try and save him. And ultimately, while this is happening, you got Waller demanding that the general, again, speak up about what he knows, because the whole point of Task Force X of this division was to be able to protect Earth from invasion. So Waller's all about business. She's not here for pleasantries. She's not here to make him feel good about himself or anything like that. He doesn't feel bad for him. She just wants to make sure that the Earth and the United States specifically are safe. That is her one and only directive.
I have a fraction of the high-level tech I should have. Just tell me where.
If you had the situation under control, you would have found it.
If you were as secure in your position as you pretended to be, you wouldn't have hidden it. I know a failsafe when I see one. I know a failure when I see one, too.
And that's how Waller moves. That's why she is a villain, but has always kind of come off as like a villain where you kind of get it. I go back and forth. I think Waller is a fantastic character, and I have loved watching her from the Justice League Unlimited days, in the comics, Peacemaker, and now this show where like you don't feel bad for Waller per se, but you do understand why she's moving the way that she does. It's just that she really just continues to be on the wrong side of this. I don't blame her for being a little bit paranoid, because again, if Superman ever gets mind controlled, which has happened a number of times in a number of different medias, that's a wrap. Let alone if you end up in an injustice situation where he just says, you know what, F y'all don't understand that I've been showing you mercy. I'm going to make you safe whether you want to or not. So I don't blame Waller for always having that in the back of her mind, and hence, you know, being a major part in Argus and Task Force X. Now, while all of this happens, at a certain point, Waller actually threatens Lois's life to General Lane if he doesn't want to turn over the keys to all the stuff that he knows. But that's right around the time that Lois and Clark show up, and the General's not all too happy to be saved by not only his daughter, but Superman of all people.
Sir, Lois was concerned about you.
And why did you bring the alien? Where's that weirdo, Kent? How can he call himself your boyfriend and then let you come here alone?
Clark was busy, and Superman helped me find you.
I didn't want you to find me.
Now, Jimmy is not going to be left behind, and he's really annoyed that he has to deal with these interns, but he decides, I have to go and help my friends. This is pretty important. So he just decides to take them all to Stryker's prison, because why not?
What we need is to bond as a team. And what better way to do that than a team field trip to somewhere like, I don't know, let's say, Stryker's prison?
Can we bring
Lois at this point essentially just wants Clark to stop fighting with her father one way or the other, but Clark keeps saying, like, look, I get it, but at the same time, think about how he's been threatening me and stuff like that, and I really just, can you blame me one way or the other? But at the same time, Superman notices earlier, I forgot to mention this, that the beacon that he's looking for that will allow him to find his cousin Kara is in Task Force X's control, and he wants to grab it, but Lois is kind of skeptical. She's like, well, but what if, we were worried about an invasion before. What if she actually is also evil? And then we got to deal with two of them. Well, not two of them, but we got to deal with another Kryptonian invasion and whatnot. And Clark seems a little upset about this because he's like, yo, this is my family. But at the time, he's just like, it kind of gets cut off because in comes Waller, and she's got Atomic Skull and Deathstroke with her, and is threatening Lane, and sees Superman there as well. And it's at this point, after a little bit of banter back and forth, Atomic Skull powers up, and it's on. Ultimately, Superman continues to clash with Atomic Skull and protect everybody, and as this ends up happening, we then end up in a situation where Superman, Lois, and General Lane find a bunch of missing prisoners, a room full of people, including Billy's missing dad from earlier that was discussed. And what's ended up happening is that Waller has started experimenting on all of these random missing individuals to make more metas. As a part of Task Force X, they are, essentially doing these experiments, whether or not, like, treating them like lab rats, so whether or not they die or not, or they end up with horrible deformities. Waller doesn't care, because it's whatever it takes to make sure that we end up with an army of people that we need. And they're being put through all sorts of tech, genetic experimentation, all that stuff, and turning them into living weapons. That's actually how we got Livewire in the first place.
People into living weapons. Like what happened to Livewire, but on purpose.
The agent who fought you in Antarctica. They must be testing out Kryptonian technology on these people and then using whatever works on their soldiers.
Waller eventually shows up with a bunch of reinforcements, including Deathstroke and Atomic Skull again. And you've got Superman having to fight him off the whole time. And in the meantime, is able to grab that beacon that will allow him to find Kara, but he doesn't end up telling Lois at this particular time. He just kind of keeps a hold of it. Now, all this is going on, there is an argument that, as Waller gets the lanes pinned down, about doing the experimentation, like, what's wrong with you? This has been way too terrible and all that. And ironically, Waller goes, see, I didn't think you were strong enough to be the leader of Task Force X, so I set you up to fail, and you just proved my point. The fact that you have any sort of humane bone in your body to feel bad about these random people that nobody will miss, you're not cut to do this. I am doing what it takes to defend America and defend humanity. So you're out, dude. And essentially, you end up in a situation where it's like, okay, I guess they're about to be killed. But fortunately, Jimmy is burning through money faster than MC Hammer did when he first got paid. And so he ends up buying a yacht, or he ends up renting a yacht, which sets him back 6 figures. But he appears with all of the interns. They're able to get all of the prisoners onto the boat and get them out of there. Meanwhile, Superman is able to stop the, guards and Atomic Skull and everybody else, and then turn back into Clark on the boat. to make sure that Lois is good and to talk to General Lane and all that.
You can stay with Clark and Jimmy. That way you're not risking me, but still close by.
Well,
Sounds good. That way, Kent can make up for the fact that he let my daughter go into danger alone.
Which obviously is going to make things so incredibly difficult for Clark, because now all of a sudden, every time he needs to go be Superman, he's got to worry about General Lane potentially seeing him. You know, maybe he's too fast to be seen, but that doesn't mean that they won't go, where the hell is Clark in this particular moment? So that's not great. But he agrees to go live with them because he's like, you know what? I want to know why supposedly your man let your ass go in here by your damn self. So I'm going to be grilling this motherfucker. Ultimately, as this all kind of wraps up, you end up in a situation where Amanda Waller is kind of surveying what's left of the base, and Ivo has gotten free and ultimately almost kills Waller, but he is stopped by a mysterious youth.
My apologies for not reaching you sooner.
The mysterious youth, explains how he used to know Ivo. He actually developed that parasite suit with him and whatnot, and that's why he knows how to stop it and whatnot. And Waller goes, wow, we could really use somebody of your intellectual talents here. So who are you? Would you like to join Task Force X? And that's when he actually reveals who he is. He says his name. He's about to say, my name is Alexander. And he stops himself and he goes, I'm Lex Luthor. With that, Lex Luthor has joined Argus/Task Force X and Amanda Waller. And for anybody that knows, whenever Luthor and Waller are together, oh God, all hell always breaks loose, because Waller's thirst for power doesn't ever prepare her for how evil and how twisted Luthor ultimately becomes, let alone how much smarter he is than everyone else, including her. She always thinks that she can kind of keep someone like Luthor under wraps, and she is sorely, sorely mistaken. So all that being said, man, I got to give this episode a solid 3.8. I definitely think it was better than the first episode. It added a lot of fun lore, getting a new villain again with Atomic Skull, getting the full introduction to Lex Luthor, which is amazing. Let alone just setting up a lot of potential fun storylines of the General living with Clark. Again, as I mentioned before, that's going to be absolutely ridiculous to see all that happen. To continue to see Jimmy just blow through his money is probably my favorite thing, and to keep having this counter where the money just goes down, absolutely hysterical. I think that is a very funny bit that they're doing, and I want to see Jimmy go broke, but it's gonna be really funny when it finally does get down to oh, he got $100. So I think that's really fun to see that happen. And other than that, I think it's a really cool, as we continue to explore the relationship between Lois and Clark and just how that's going, where Lois's ambition and whatnot, she keeps Clark grounded, clearly, because he's in love, but her ambition at times is dangerous for both of them. And I think that thing where he's trying, Clark is trying to both support her, but also defend her at the same time. And then where that balance comes in, and also his own torn mentality of I have other family out here. And I want to be able to see them and acknowledge them and not feel alone. And so now even the back and forth of ooh, does he pick kind of his Kryptonian side or his earthly side, at least right now, because we don't know the state that Kara's in or anything like that. And who knows? We've seen a bunch of different versions of her. We've seen ones that when you think about the Flash, she's immediately ready to just scrap because she doesn't trust humanity. We've also seen in the animated movie Batman Superman Apocalypse, where Kara actually ends up on the planet and ultimately gets manipulated and kidnapped by Darkseid and turned evil. So again, because we are watching this story as it's unfolding on this show, we don't know what state she's in, if she will follow her cousin and be a good guy, if she's manipulated and she'll have to be saved, or have her mind rearranged and not covered in evil, whatever it is. We have to wait and see how that's going. So we're setting up a lot of great storylines for this season. But I want to know what you think, man. Where do you think this is all going? Do you think that there's going to be a point in which Clark and Lois might break up? Do you think the General is going to figure out that Clark is Superman? Do you think Kara is going to be evil or, have amnesia or whatever, in a coma? Who knows where we're going with this? I want to know what you think. And I want to know what you think about the show so far. Are you enjoying it? Did you watch season 1? one? Are you only here supporting my content? Thank you. And now you're just now getting to watch the show. I highly recommend checking out season 1 if you haven't, because it is actually very, very well done, and only, again, adds, as season by season will, to what's going on in this particular season. It gives you a lot of fun little stuff and Easter eggs throughout, but a great storyline that's happening so far. So please be sure to do that. Now, as far as what's going to be going on the channel for the foreseeable future, we're going to continue to do My Adventures with Superman. Next week, next Thursday/Friday, is the release of Bad Boys Ride or Die. So what I'm actually going to be doing, I have been a diehard Bad Boys fan for a long time. I love those films. I'm actually going to be spending Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week doing a CPT review of the first 3 films. This is essentially more of a rewatch because I've seen them before, but I'm going to rewatch the films and do that this weekend as well. It'll probably be on Sunday because it happens to be my girlfriend's birthday on, well, it was her birthday yesterday, but her party is on Saturday, so I will be indisposed. I'll be doing my first 2 rewatches of the Fox Marvel universe. If you haven't already, as of this evening, it's not going to be up when this video goes up, but as of this evening, so check back, I guess, tomorrow morning if you want. I will be updating the Patreon and the various tiers, and there will be the opportunity to do the rewatch with me. If you'd like to sit and watch the Fox Marvel movies, you can. If I have enough time to watch the Bad Boys films with you as well, I'll do that. But we have 20 plus, I think it's like 21, maybe it's just 20 Fox Marvel films to get through before Deadpool and Wolverine. So that is really going to be where a lot of those rewatches together will be. But I would absolutely love for you to join me. If you can't, that's totally fine. Don't even worry about that. I will be putting out CPT reviews, essentially rewatches of those Fox films as well, and that's for everybody. But if you want to watch it with me, that's where, that will be available on the Patreon. So with all that, y'all, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to come and check out the vid. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, man. We're well on our way to 3,000. And again, if you got a free device that's open, go ahead and run one of those playlists and check out all of my stuff, or you can just have it on the background. I'm not too bad to listen to while you're doing your work and shit. But either way, I definitely want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I will see you on the next one, y'all. Peace.